Hi, my name is Evelina Protectore, and this video is dedicated to Electro-harmonix harmony machine and vocoder voice box. So, first look at the box. It has a very pleasant design. I really like the color because I'm a girl. Yeah. And it also has a metallic case, which is quite good because nowadays a lot of effects are made from plastic, which makes them pretty fragile. So, metallic case. Hooray! Let's take a look at the connections. We've got AC adapter plug here. The adapter comes in a box. Also, there's a user's manual that comes in a box. And then we've got some inputs. There's a regular input for the microphone. Also, there's an option of phantom power. You can turn it off and turn it on accordingly. And there's an input for an instrument, a regular jack. The outputs are the same. XLR for the microphone, jack for the instrument. Once plugged in, you can adjust the sensitivity of your microphone or microphone gain. You can turn it onto high and you can turn it onto low. Usually everyone uses high, but if you're a loud singer, you can turn it onto low. But since we're in an apartment, I'm not gonna sing loud, so we don't need the low right now. Also, the box can be used as a thing you hold in your hands or as a floor unit because it has two buttons here that are pretty stiff and look like they were made for boots. Let's take a look on the effect section. We've got 9 of those. So the simplest ones are octaves and unison+whistle. These are the only effects that do not require an instrument input. Then we've got low harmony, which is basically everything that is below your original voice. We've got high harmony, which is everything that is above your original voice. We've got a combination of both that is low plus high harmony. And we've got 3 different multi-harmony functions, which is basically a combination of both high and low, but in various setups. Oh, and another one. We've got the most important thing that this box can offer is a vocoder, which is the most simple and yet not so simple thing. We'll get back to that later. Let's take a look at these 5 black knobs on top of the voice box. So we've got a blend, which is a tool that helps you adjust the balance between the dry voice. It's what professionals call the unprocessed signal? Yeah, signal, which is basically your voice. You can adjust the balance of that one by turning the knob. You can adjust the knob and regulate how much of the dry voice you want to hear and how much of the wet or processed or harmonized voice you want to hear. Then we've got reverb. This is pretty cool because you can adjust the reverb for the dry signal and for the harmonies separately. So the gender bender helps you to decide whether you want your voice to sound more feminine or more masculine. Of course, it doesn't sound natural because it's processed, but still, it can be useful when you're in these 3 modes like harmony 1, harmony 2, harmony 3, because when you're in a setup when you've got a lot of different voices, you can adjust the sound of the voices so that it would sound more natural or more quirky. It depends on what you really want. But when you choose something like low harmony or high harmony, or even low plus high harmony, it means that you don't have a lot of voices sounding apart from your original voice. And that means that when you adjust the gender bender, the voices will clearly not sound natural. So it's up to you to decide whether you want your voice to sound like a dominant one with additional processed, very heavily processed voices on top and below of your own. Or you maybe can leave the gender bender in the middle, and then it may sound more or like the original voice if you leave it in the middle. The last knob you have is the voice mix. The voice mix is basically a thing that helps you to decide how many voices you want to have on top or below of you. So let's suppose we're in the low harmony mode. The low harmony in this unit varies from -3rd and -5th. By turning this knob, you regulate how much of these intervals you will hear, whether you're hearing only, if it's turned to maximum, minimum, the -5th or -3rd or both. Same happens with the high harmony. If you turn it to maximum or minimum, you will hear only one voice, whether it's above or below. When we choose the unison and whistle, basically it will regulate how much of unison you will have. Like if you turn it to minimum, you will have only the unison, or how much of the whistle you will have. If you turn it to maximum, you'll have only the whistle. If you turn it to the middle, you will have both in the equal amount. All in all, it all depends on your personal tastes in music. In addition to that, you can adjust all 5 black knobs however you like, and you can save up to 9 presets. It doesn't matter how many times you unplug the effect. The presets will stay in its memory until you override them. Let's take a look how it works in real life. Yeah? Oh, and there's a bypass button. You can press it and the voice will be only dry with no effects at all. Okay, so now we're all plugged in. You see the XLR in, XLR out, jack in, jack out. I've got a piano, which will feed the box some harmonies. And I also took a different microphone. The previous one was a condenser microphone, and I decided that it's not a good idea to use one because it catches a lot of sound. This one is a regular dynamic microphone. So let's start from the beginning. I already said that when I first got the box, I used only the unison plus whistle and octaves. These are the 2 only effects that do not require any harmony input. Let's try them out. Okay, let's start with octaves. Okay, we've got gender bender in the middle and we've got voice mix in the middle as well. And let's add some processed voice. La 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 la. How do you like that? Creepy. So, as I already said, that sounds so funny. As I already said once, when you've got the gender bender in the middle and the voice mix in the middle, let's start from the voice mix. It makes you so when you've got gender bender in the middle and voice mix in the middle, you are surrounded by everything. Let's change the gender bender. So you hear the upper voice is a deeper one now. And let's change the voice mix. And I'm going to turn the blend knob to maximum. This way you will hear only the processed voice. Remember I said the voice mix is how much of the processed voices you've got. So it means that in this specific setup, you've got an equal amount of the upper voice and the lower voice. And let's try changing it to only the lower voice. And it sounds like robot. Robot. It sounds like a robot. I am a robot. And if we change the gender bender,
Well, the sound is different. It sounds more human-like, which is nice. But let's change the voice mix.
And now I'm a pixie. Pixie. Woohoo!
these are the octaves. They do not require additional harmonies. And now my favorite one, almost favorite one, the unison plus whistle. Behold! I'm whistling and talking at the same time. So once again, the blend to maximum. And we've got an equal amount of the original, not the original voice, but the processed voice, the one that is unison. And we've got a whistle. And here's a whistle without the unison. And now we've got only the unison. So basically the unison is my voice, but processed. Number 2 is something that I like the most about this box is the vocoder. Why I like it the most? Usually when you buy a vocoder, you get a tiny keyboard with a built-in microphone, which is not bad at all, but it means that if you want to use your original voice, you have to have two different setups. The one that is for a vocoder and another one for your other things you're doing, whatever you're doing there. And the other thing is that when you have a vocoder like the one that you buy, you get only the sounds that are built into that specific keyboard. In this case, you get a vocoder box that uses whatever sounds you have available in your keyboard. Let's try it out.
Here is my vocoder, and I'm using strings that are available in my digital piano, and I'm turning that off right now. Just a second. We have a vocoder, and I have turned both reverbs to minimum. Well, I don't need one for my regular voice because it doesn't exist right now. And for the harmony, it's off because it blurs the sound. If you use the gender bender, you're adjusting the sound of your voice. It can sound more masculine or more feminine. And right now it's in the middle. Let's turn it to minimum. And now it sounds like this. Now it sounds like this. Now it sounds like that.
And now it sounds like this. And now the voice mix, the voice mix, the voice mix, the voice mix. So this one is very sharp, and if you add the harmony on top of that, it blurs things.
The thing about the vocoder is that you don't need to sing at all. You can just speak into the vocoder, and it will take the sound from the instrument and process it in the pedal, and will give out the whatever you're playing with the things you're saying. If you want to know more about vocoders, go to Wikipedia and read more about how they work. I'm not a tech person, so whenever I'm talking about things like that, my knees start to shake. I'm more into languages and people's science, like that. Let's move on to the harmonies, which is the second part of the box and also very important. We've got 7 different types of harmonies here. As I already said, we've got low harmony, high harmony, low plus high, and 3 different multi-harmony types. The thing I've noticed about this pedal is that you need to give the effect very clear harmonies. I've tried feeding it some strings, some Hammond sounds, or electronic keyboard sounds or something like that, and I've discovered that it reacts best if you just play a regular piano like this one. So the low harmony is everything that is below your original voice. Let's try it out. Ooh. The high harmony is everything above your voice. The low plus high is both the voices above and voices below. The next one is a set of 3 different multi-harmony presets. It gives you different combinations of the voices above and below. So one of the problems I've encountered when exploring this amazing thing called the voice box is that when you're in vocoder mode, it doesn't really matter what kind of chords you play. It will just reproduce whatever sounds you feed into the box. But when you're in harmony mode, I've discovered that it's best if you choose the simple chords. Like, for example, I've been using C major chord.
When you're in C major chord, it's quite okay. And then the F major chord is also okay. And if you're in minor, it's also okay. But then we go back to major chord, and for example, we add a sharp 11. We add a sharp 11. It thinks that it's a different chord. It doesn't recognize this kind of chord. You're playing major, but you still have something else sounding from your box. That is a problem.
I have a very strong suspicion that these kind of effects really do react badly to complicated chords. For example, when I was recording the demo version that you can find attached to this video, the link below, I had a chord, a sus chord, or in other words, I had G in the bass and F major triad in the right hand. So when I tried singing harmonies on top of that, it just didn't work. It just sounded flat. Let me demonstrate.
Be there, be there, be there, where everything sounds flat.
So what I did, I ignored the sus in the chord and I just played the major. I did like that.
Be there, be there, be there, where everything is how it used to be.
My conclusion is that these kind of effect boxes, they are not able to recognize something more complicated than a regular major or minor, which is enharmonics. So the same thing, basically. I've tried several effect units that work with harmonies, and none of those was able to recognize some complicated chords. I don't know if it's a problem if you're into the kind of music that doesn't really use this kind of chords, so it's not a problem for you. If you're into that kind of music, and I'm a jazz singer, so usually we use some, what would be the polite way to say it? We use some intricate harmonies. And that means that I really need to get more creative with this specific unit to make it sound cool. Another thing you really need to be careful about is the kind of melody you feed into the box. What really are you singing? Because the box works as a pitch shifter. The box works as a pitch shifter. It means that it takes your original signal, your original pitch, and moves it higher or lower, depending on what you really want to do with it. So let's say you've got a C major triad and you've turned the voice mix knob to the lowest setting. It means that it will play a -5th from your original voice. The thing is that this box is a machine, which is the truth. But it also means that it works mathematically. And it also means that if it has to play the minus fifth, it will do exactly that. It doesn't matter how the melody really sounds. So you need to be careful with choosing the notes because it will take into consideration that you've got a C major triad, but it doesn't really mean that every fifth will sound good. Like, let's try.
Sounds nice. But will it fit the original melody? No more secrets left, nothing to hide. Hide, hide, it sounds awful, awful. No more secrets left, nothing to hide. This is better.
All in all, I'd say that it's a pretty fine specimen for a harmonizer. Sure, you have to get used to it, and it takes a lot of time and effort and work to make it sound good, but what effect unit doesn't require work and imagination? All in all, it all depends on your patience and how deep your imagination runs. So thank you for watching. If you want to listen to the demo I've created, link below. Or if you're into reading, I have a blog entry where I describe basically the same and even more. I've described some complications and some struggles I've had with this effect unit. You can follow the link below and check it out. And also, if you've got any comments or questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. And also, subscribe to my channel, pressing the button below. Good luck and be harmonized. Yay! Interval? Interval! Pitch shifter!
It's not what I need. No.
How much?